Alright, this is my 2018 video game room tour. I kind of done these about every 2 or 3 years. Changed quite a bit, and we just finished our basement. So let's go check it out. Alright, flip on the light here. So this is the new game room here. Shut the door because my wife's on the elliptical out there. I guess we can start over here. Gonna get my big Chiefs tapestry up kind of behind my chair where I'm playing at. Got a whole bunch of plushes up on the wall there. My big giant Mario, of course. Everyone needs a massive Mario. I got a bunch of newer system boxes right there. I guess we'll kind of start over here with my handhelds. I've got one of those Superboys, and I got a bunch of loose games right here. A couple handhelds in the back, my PSP, some Game Boy Colors, my SP, my 101 back there. I've got the Neo Geo right over here with a few games, not a ton. I'm going to try to show most of my games. I'm probably not going to show everything. If anyone wants like a more in-depth video, I can do that. And then right over here, we're going to have a lot of my boxed games. Start off right here with some Game Boy ones that I've kind of recently gotten. A lot of the Super Mario World Advance ones I recently got from a local video game store, A Games. Then we'll kind of go into my NES boxed games. I put a few of them here on display, some of my favorites. And then got more of my box games. I typically keep them on the shelf loose. Not only that, this is like a 6-foot like floating shelf, and I don't think it can hold that weight. But it works pretty awesome to hold all these boxes. So got all those down there. I've got some pretty rare ones like Bomberman 2 and that Fire and Ice. That's pretty rare that I have up there. You don't see that game Pirates too often. I originally didn't really want to collect boxes, but I ended up getting them in these kind of big lots and kind of unsuspectingly sometimes when they didn't really mention that they still had the boxes. But now I think I'm up to about 130, 140 NES boxes. It's kind of the same way with all of these N64 and the Super Nintendos coming up. They kind of just ended up when I was going to buy games at good deals, and I showed up and they were sitting there completing the box. Can't pass that up. But all this cardboard. Sorry about the camera work here. I'm kind of low. Like that Star Fox on Super Nintendo. And then going in the back, I just have like a bunch of games crammed back there. Game Boy Advance. I bought probably 3 years ago. I bought about 50 boxed games for like $50. There are some decent ones in there. So that just fell. That's a sealed F-Zero on Game Boy Advance. Then down below here, I kind of keep my Funtastic N64s. I kind of want to put them up on the walls, but haven't done it yet. Of course, I like to play a little golf, so I have a little ball returner there. And then kind of heading over here to this wall, I've got some of my favorites: Mario Kart 64, Street Fighter 2, Ocarina of Time, the Collector's Edition, and of course GoldenEye. as you might have be hearing in the background. Recently got that from Adam, one of the video game dads. I really like that. I really enjoyed that game. Super Nintendo box that I got on my way actually to Super BitCon in Oklahoma City. I stopped at like a video game store down there, and they only wanted like $6 for it. It's probably one of the better deals of the weekend. Of course, Mario's got to be holding his Mega Man Pogs. Just kind of random. But I did have a lot of Pogs as a kid, so it's just kind of brings back memories. A lot of these box games I actually got pretty recently, and kind of a big lot. And then we'll start off over here with my loose Super Nintendo games. And this is kind of a mix of kind of rare games or just games I've picked up. Well, I think that Beauty and the Beast game is kind of going up in price. People like that Brain Lord, I know. The Dracula X is real popular. I almost sold this to kind of a local guy, Cameron, and I made him a pretty good offer. It's definitely legit with that rental sticker on there. But he actually didn't get it, and I'm kind of glad he didn't. So that was probably like 2 years ago. Of course, I got my Donkey Kong Countries. Earthworm Jim. Got all 3 final fights. I really enjoyed that third final fight, but it doesn't get too much attention. That like final fight guy gets a lot of attention in the first one, but I really like that third one playing co-op. It's really fun. Just got my Link to the Past, my Power Rangers games. Let's see. Yes, there's that Soul Blazer that I recently got. I have, I think, every single Street Fighter. Got that Alpha 2 even. Got, of course, all the Marios. Kart, RPG, World. Even the All-Stars. Sorry, it's having a hard time focusing here. Uh-oh. There it goes. Alright. Got all these, the X-Men games, and of course at the end there, Yoshi's Island. Then I have all my N64 games here. I bought end labels for everything. I just think it's a lot easier. And I'm kind of glad I did it. And it's kind of nice, actually, because the end labels that I have in a bag, which I'll show you kind of where I keep them kind of hidden, kind of down there in between the shelves, there's a bunch of labels. All of those kind of let me know which games I need. So that's pretty nice. I'll show you both those rows at the same time. Try to speed this up. I kind of want to get this under 30 minutes. Hopefully that happens. So after N64, it's my GameCube games. And these are pretty much just filled with games that I just really like. I don't have a huge game. I probably got like 40 or 50 games, not a ton. If even that, maybe like 30 games. Now that I sit here and look, but they're all pretty solid titles, and I never had a GameCube growing up. I was in college and too busy drinking and doing other stuff. But I actually played when GameCube was out, I was still playing the N64 a lot, playing Blitz a lot in college. I really loved playing NFL Blitz and Mario Kart, like drunken Mario Kart. Here's my Wii games. I have a pretty decent amount of Wii games. They're pretty easy to find right now, like in the thrift stores, for pretty cheap. So I've been picking a lot up. And I got a lot of the titles that I want. There are still a few that I'm still kind of seeking out. Got the Galaxies. I actually really like the golf games on the Wii. I think they're kind of underrated. With the Wii Motion Plus, it is pretty amazing how well it detects your swing. Some people may laugh at that, but if you do like golf like I do, it is pretty awesome. It's essentially better than those like mats you hit into, and then it projects like how you swing. I don't know. I have like an extremely small handheld section because I really don't play. And like when I was younger, I didn't really play handhelds that much. Only my brother had a Game Gear, and I barely, he just let me play it every now and then when we go on trips. When he was tired or fell asleep. I have like 2 TurboGrafx games. It's the Bonk's Adventure and Keith Courage. I recently just got it from that same guy Adam, probably a couple months ago, so I just have those 2 games there. I got a few PS1 games. Again, I was playing that N64 a lot, so I don't have a ton, but I do have some decent ones here. Then goes into the PS3 games, which I played a decent amount of PS3. A lot of these, some of the games I've traded in for PS4 versions, because I felt like I didn't need a PS3 and a PS4 version. So, at one point, I think I probably had like 20 more games, I'd say. And here are my PS4 games. Again, I don't have a ton of the newer stuff. My video game collection is mainly made up of NES is probably the biggest thing I collect for, and Genesis, and maybe Super Nintendo, I'd say. I have the PSVR headset that a friend let me borrow because he's going out of town for work for like 9 months. So I am very grateful to my friend Doug for letting me borrow it and trusting me, because they are quite expensive there. Then I guess we can kind of take a seat here, and this is what I pretty much look at when I play my video games. I've got the Far Cry 5 going in there right now. And of course the GoldenEye. But just sitting in the chair here, I have my TurboGrafx up here, the Sega Saturn, the Sega CDX, and the CD player does work in that. The mini Super Nintendo, the Pikachu edition N64, of course my NES down there, which looks like I accidentally left on. I think Mega Man's in there. And my GameCube with the Wavebird and the Game Boy Player disc down there. Up here I have my Jaguar, my PS4, and my Retron 5 that I literally played once to set up the controllers, and I think that's it. I don't even know if I played a game in there. I mean, I think I tested games, but just to make sure it worked, but I don't know. Hasn't been the best investment for me. My PS3, my Wii U, and then the PSVR headset that I'm kind of borrowing. I've got my buddies Stan and Kenny over there. And then they're kind of on top of a switch. And it's like a 4-way HDMI switch with the PS3 and the Wii U and all that, and the PS4. Of course, I got my Casey Blades puck over there, and then my Royals lamp with Donkey Kong. Of course, Donkey Kong and the blue lamps rocking the Royals hat. You gotta do that. And then I guess we'll look at my NES stuff over here. I've got a bunch of stuff on the wall. The lunchbox way up top. I think I'm going to take that decal down and get something else. I don't really like it. It always lifts up, and I don't know. It's like, I think it's the Galaxy image right there. But yeah, I've got like pretty much all the box systems, not like all the variants and everything, but I have a like a N64, Super Nintendo, original NES. You saw the GameCube earlier. Yeah, in here I have some of the few rare things like that stack up complete in the box with like the tray and all the pieces and everything. That Rob complete in the box with the styrofoam. It's kind of tough to get, especially the styrofoam piece. But yeah, kind of all my goodies: the Power Glove, the Virtual Boy, and I guess we'll start showing you some of my NES games here. And this is kind of like the bread and butter and the thing that I started collecting for first when I first went into actually a Game Nut, probably in like 2009 up in Lawrence. I only had like 40 or 50 bucks, and I bought a NES system for like 25 or 30, and I got like 6 games. The guy who lived above me actually had an NES system, and it kind of brought back some memories. So there I got all the bases loaded, of course. I got the 4th one too, which is a little bit tougher one to find because it came out kind of late. So got the Battletoads Double Dragon. It's a little bit tougher one to find. Gotta get my Bo Jackson baseball, of course, from KC. Got both Bombermans, the Bucky O'Hare. It's a really hard game, but lets you keep continuing, so it's a pretty nice feature. That Casino Kid 2 is a pretty rare game. Got all the Castlevanias, of course. Cool World. I used to actually really like that movie with Brad Pitt. Watching it as an adult, it wasn't that good, but I don't know why. All the Contras. I believe I have around 600 original NES games. I think my app thing says like 597, but I'm almost positive there's a couple I kind of have missed. I should really go through here. I'm sure somebody's actually going to go through here and count this and be like, you actually have 592. But it's somewhere around 600, might be just under. But no, I don't have like Little Samson. I don't have any of the games that are like $500 or over. I have a lot of $150 games and some pretty rare games that I would suspect are actually going to kind of go up in value because I don't really see them too much. One that keeps going up. Oops, sorry about the focusing. Camera's having a little issue. Ugh, sorry about that. I really like that Jackie Chan's Action Kung Fu. Still need that Lolo 3. I saw it at a convention, but I just didn't really want to pay the full price for it. I still need that Mario's Time Machine. I think that's like the only Mario game I don't have. Yeah, my kids. All the Mega Mans. I think that Mega Man 2's in the system right now. Have Metal Storm. Oh, this is the game I was saying earlier. For some reason, I got this at Game Cycle, which is a store, to be honest with you, I really don't like them. But they had this for $5 way back like 3 or 4 years ago, and it was going for like 20, so I knew it was a good deal. But I kind of just looked this up randomly the other day, and it's now going for like 70 or 80, because I've never seen it. That was the only time I'd ever seen it. And looks like it's gone up quite a bit. I still need that Ninja Gaiden 3. I like that game North vs. South. Whoop, sorry. Almost fell there. I used to love pro wrestling as a kid. Starman. RC Pro-Am 1 and 2. I used to love RC Pro-Am back in the day. Shatterhands. It's a fun game right there. Used to play this game, Sky Kid, with my brother when I was younger, and it was a lot of fun playing that co-op. It's not like the greatest game, but it's not too difficult, and it was 2-player co-op, so that made it actually a lot more fun, because there weren't a whole lot of co-op games on the NES. There was a lot of games where like one person would play and then die and the other person would play, but let's see, Tecmo Super Bowls, all the Turtles games, of course, some of my favorites. Vice Project Doom. And to the end here, the game Wampum's pretty fun. And Wrecking Crew. And it ends the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles. Alright. Then I have my top loader here. I don't really like the top loader because I mean, of course I like that it works just about every time, but the vertical bars really piss me off, so I just don't use it. Just an extra Rob that I have. Whenever I used to see them on Craigslist for like $10 or whatever, or 20 or less, I would just pick them up. So I have like 3 or 4 of those guys. Here's my Nintendo Power Collection. I just have, I think like 1 through 100. Yeah, I guess like the earlier ones don't really have dates. They just kind of say March, April, May, and the year. And they started with the volumes like around number like 10 or so. One of my favorite volumes is this actual Virtual Boy episode, or volume I should say, and it came with these 3D glasses where like this image, I can't really show you with the camera, but it does appear in 3D, and it's actually pretty good, especially for like it shows kind of previews of the games in 3D, and they do work, and they're not like that red and blue crap where it distorts everything. So it's kind of a neat little feature. Oh, and I was also going to show you over here, I have my little Switch, so I have all these systems, everything that you saw on this little stand here is like working. So like here, I just switched to that NES because I saw it was still on. But yep, it's pretty neat. I think I have 7 of the ports open. But I guess I'll show you the last little part, which is kind of my Sega section. So if you thought I didn't have any Sega stuff, think again. I was a pretty big Genesis guy. Kind of start over here with some of my box stuff. The Game Gear over here, that was my brother's, his case, and the Game Gear actually, and we still had like 7 or 8 games. I guess trade value wasn't good, because we did get rid of a bunch of our stuff when we were kids. I got the Genesis box, that 32X box up there, which I got from Shane of the Video Game Dads. That Sega CDX box, which got really fortunate, and I got that really cheap from a guy. The Sega CD, and my Master System box with the 3D glasses actually up there. And then here's just some of my favorite Sega Genesis games that I have complete in the box that I just kind of set out, really because I'm running out of room over here, but that's a whole other story. I had a Sega CD that was not working, so I decided to put it on the wall just because I thought it looked kind of cool. I have my Sega Nomad that I got from a buddy of mine named Michael. Won't say her name just in case you don't want to. And that was really cool. I got that like 3 or 4 years ago in a trade. I think I gave him like, I want to say like some of the Dragon Warriors, or I know that Magic I can't say it, Scherzenot or something like that on NES. But he was looking forward to getting that. I have a few of my little Tiger handhelds here, just some video game ones, Sonic, Mortal Kombat, and Street Fighter. Some sealed Genesis and Game Gear stuff that I got for next to nothing. And then here is a bunch of my loose, sorry the light's gonna make it all messed up, but some of my loose Genesis games, and I don't really mind having the loose ones. This actual little holder here that I found at a thrift store actually works really well. So, got a lot of the goodies. There's definitely still a bunch that I still am looking for on Genesis. Other than NES, that's kind of the thing that I'm looking for the most. Sorry about the focusing of my camera. It's not the best. And the last little bit here. Yeah, and all my games, as you see, my games used to be down here. If you really want to watch an older video on my channel, you can look back. About 2 years ago, I mean, this was a dungeon. It was an unfinished basement, and I pretty much had all my games just stacked up. Here's all my boxed Genesis games. So when I actually finished the basement, I decided to invest in all these shelves. I think I have like 6 of these white shelves here, and they're really nice. They fit all my games pretty well because they're all adjustable, and they gave me extra, like you can see actually right there on the right side, I have like 5 or 6 extra shelves that even if in the future, if I want to have more like CDs or something that are smaller, like CD cases, I can add more, because these Genesis boxes and Sega CD cases take up a lot of space. And into my Master System games, I have a bunch of loose games that I just don't even have down here. There's my 32X games. A lot of these I got from a buddy named Andrew. I'd say about half these. He bought them in the early 2000s when no one wanted them at a video game store up in Bloomington, Indiana. So there's my Sega CD games. And going into the Sega Saturn. I really like that game, In the Hunt. It's kind of like a shooter from a submarine. Of course, I gotta have those NBA Jams. I was a big fan of that. And I have the first two Panzer Dragons. I don't have a huge Sega Saturn. 3/4 of these I got in like one lot with the system. So it's not something I actively look for. I actually buy more Sega CD games because I really don't have a good reason for it, but I just, whatever reason, I look for Sega CD games a little more often. And then I just have a bunch of kind of random stuff that I'm actually needing a home, needing a place to find, but just like an extra PSP, my Atari Lynx, a bunch of games here. Kind of just some doubles right here. I guess the last thing I'll show you is so for all my doubles, I pretty much just put them all in the closet here. And I'm not even going to show you the garage where I have even more stuff, but I mean, here's all my extra boxed NES games that I have that are just doubles. Yeah, like my extra N64 games. I don't know. We're gonna have a little swap, so all this stuff will be going to this swap, and if not, I'm gonna have to put it on eBay or something because it's kind of getting crazy. So just got too much stuff ever since I had a kid. I've had issues, well, just less time to sell stuff, so. Alright, but I think that is about it. So this is my game room. It's pretty small. I haven't packed a ton of stuff in here, but to be honest with you, like the width of it is it's really only about 12 feet wide by maybe like 20 feet. It's a real small room, but I do enjoy it, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. So good night, everyone.